Winter, that special time of year. You get your friends together, you make plans to get out to the hill, you get your boots and your gear cleaned and ready for the season. The day finally comes, you're dressed, you're ready, you're not going anywhere apparently. Good thing there's always video games to fill the void. Snowboard Kids. Long before Atlas was renowned worldwide for their games like the Persona series, they released this absolute banger. Releasing in 1998 in North America to generally positive reviews, this is a game that has had its name fall to obscurity over the years, despite being well received at launch. Most people nowadays don't recognize the name when you ask them, and oftentimes when I try to bring this game up, I get greeted by this look. Well, that is a damn shame. This game is one of the best hidden gems on the N64. I remember the day my older sister brought this home for us. We spent the whole day playing. She loves snowboarding, and we both love Mario Kart 64, so it seemed like a no-brainer to pick it up. Now, I know what you're thinking. The hell does Mario Kart have to do with snowboarding? Well, to put it simply, Snowboard Kids is a racing game with items. There's other game modes, but the mode you'll likely spend most of your time in is the Battle Race mode. Battle Race mode has 4 players, and we've actually got a pretty decent variety of items here considering it's a snowboard game. Along with the items, the aspect that makes this game more similar to Mario Kart than anything else is the lack of a complete sense of security. Like how you can be in first place the entire time and still end up in last in a matter of seconds. It is especially egregious right at the chairlift. Now the chairlift is how you go from lap to lap, but only one player can go through at a time. If you don't line up your entry perfectly on the first try, well, congrats, you're in last now. Okay, so before we really get into it, there's something I need to mention to any who might be thinking of grabbing this game. It is an absolute memory card hog. If you've never dealt with this on the N64, a lot of games save right on the cartridge, but games like this one needed memory cards. Your memory for games on the memory card was not measured in kilobytes or megabytes. We had this nonsense called pages. You're going to want to check this before you start the game. To access this screen, insert your memory card into your controller, insert your controller into the first port, then put a game into the system and hold the start button on the controller during startup. If done correctly, you'll see this notepad looking screen come up. When I first tried to play the game, it told me I didn't have enough memory available to save. So I went ahead and checked, saw that I had 13 pages available. So I'm thinking, alright, I guess that makes sense, that's not very much. Let's delete some shit and see if that fixes the problem. So I free up 75 pages, thinking, surely that has to be enough. Well, call me Shirley, cause I surely was wrong. Okay, fuck's sakes, I deleted almost everything. I've got 107 pages available. Only my absolute most cherished save files of my youth still remain. Fuck! At this point, I gave up the guesswork and consulted the internet. 121 fucking pages. 121! An empty memory card only has 123. Well, no other choice, I guess. I am not buying another memory card just for this game. Alright, now that my childhood memories have all been banished to the Shadow Realm, time to get started for real. When we start up, we get to pick between these 5 characters. There's actually 6, but we still need to unlock the last one. Each character has their own stats, and these actually do make a difference. So we've got Slash, Nancy, Jam, Linda, and Tommy. I prefer to play as Slash because having a little bit of everything comes in handy. I tried playing as the other characters here and there, but I didn't like how they controlled much. I have no clue which character is actually the best, though. After we pick our character, we get to pick between a few different game modes. We've got Battle Race that I mentioned before. We've also got Time Attack, which has all the same tracks as Battle Race, but you only get to do 1 lap and you're racing alone. I personally don't like Time Attack modes that much, and it's not required to unlock everything, so I barely played it. Other than those 2 modes, we've also got these skill games, and these are another fun option if you don't feel like doing the battle race, or you need to take a break from trying to get gold to get your blood pressure back to normal. In the skill game menu, we have speed game, shot game, and trick game. Speed Game is another time attack style mode, but with the added twist of having the fan speed boost items scattered throughout the map. You have 3 maps available to you in this mode, and they're the same maps as the first 3 from the battle race or the time attack mode. This mode is so easy. I got first place on each trial on my first try. The second trial, I even fell once because I hit a tree, and the third trial, I hit a rock, and I still got first with time to spare. They give you enough speed fins that you're basically always having a speed boost, and the first place time to beat is a lot slower than you'd think. This mode is not necessary for unlocking everything, but it's still pretty fun. Shot Game is another one that I had a really easy time getting first place. So we have to hit snowmen that are set up throughout the course, and the amount of snowmen you need to hit for first is dependent on the map that you select. We only have 3 maps available to choose from in this mode, and each one has more snowmen than the last. But that does not make it harder though. This game gives you a lot of bullets to try to hit these snowmen, and they regenerate as soon as you hit one. So you can spam the button when you see one, and you're rarely at risk of running out of shots. It never happened to me. The trick to get first on these is to pick the slowest board and take your time. They give you a lot more time than you need. Trick Game is definitely the mode that stands out the least for me after playing other snowboard games in my lifetime like the SSX series. Coming back to play a subpar high score game mode with a limited trick selection felt like a slog to get through. Unfortunately, if you want to unlock everything, you're playing this mode, so sorry about your luck. There's only one course for this mode, and it's not that long, adding to the feeling of the slog. So to do a trick, when you go off a jump, hold A in a direction, and then release just before you go off the jump. There are some special tricks that give you extra points, which help with this mode. The button input for these depends on who you're playing. They're not that hard to pull off, but each character has 3 special attacks with 3 different inputs. The most pointless section in this game mode is this tiny ass half pipe. What the heck am I supposed to do with this? You couldn't have made it a little longer? I'm not on a skateboard here. And this is where we're going to spend 90% of our time going back and forth stacking points. After this half pipe section, there's only a couple jumps and the most finicky rail ever. Going back and forth doing tricks in the half pipe section to get over 400 points to get first place will drive you mental. I'm not kidding. There's this annoying soundbite after every trick. And you're popping a trick every other second. I started hearing this in my sleep. Anyway, our first unlockable we're going to go for is the feather board. This board is unlocked by getting 2,500 points in the trick game, which makes it available for purchase in the store for 100,000 coins.
Do you accept bits of string?
The only way to get 2,500 points is to do special tricks over and over in the half pipe. Let me just say, the featherboard is not worth the effort it takes to unlock it, nor the time it takes to grind the coins to buy it. It just lets you float in the air for an extra second when you go off a jump, giving you more time for tricks. Man, it really did feel like a waste to spend so much money on something that I'm never going to use. That being said, financial planning has never been my strong suit, so fuck it, time to ball out. Let's head to the store. Let's talk about the store now since we're here anyways. First of all, look at the dog! So when we go to buy a board, we can pick from 3 options. You automatically start with level 1 of each board, but need to buy the next level up. Each level up incrementally increases the price while making the board slightly better. There are 3 additional special boards to purchase as well, like the feather board I mentioned before, but they need to be unlocked first before they show up here. Don't worry, I'll show you how to get those too. Next unlockable board is the ice board. All you gotta do is simply buy all 3 levels of the other basic boards to make it available for purchase for 1,000 gold. The ice board is really fast, but the turning is awful. It's unwieldy and would take some serious skill to use even somewhat effectively. The game even tells you so in the description of the board. There's only one more unlockable board to purchase, which is the star board, but we're gonna have to unlock that one later. We don't have what we need yet. Alright, so other than purchasing boards, you can also change your board color at the shop. For free! I know, right? Doesn't cost you any in-game currency. You can change the colors as many times as you want, and there's so many options. The shopkeep is an absolute chad. So now that we've taken a look at the other game modes, let's head back to the main one. When you first fire up Battle Race mode, you've got 6 races to choose from. A word of caution here, you're going to need some serious patience to get gold on all of these. Well, since we want to unlock all the other maps and the last character, guess what we're doing? So when you start the race, you'll notice you have 2 different item boxes. The blue item boxes fill the right-hand box, and the red item boxes fill the left-hand box. Now this next part is super important. You can't grab an item if you have no money. They don't fuck with broke boys. You need 100 coins per item. If you don't have enough, you just run right into them and expose yourself. This game also has a soundbite that roasts you, just in case your friends didn't see that stupid shit you just did.
Not enough.
Alright, so each coin you grab on the map gives you 100 coins. You can also do tricks to earn money. So now that we've got some cash, we're ready to grab some items. The items in the red boxes are weapon items that hit your opponent. No matter what item you get 3 of them. First we got the bomb, which is definitely my least favorite one. When you use this, you have 2 choices. Do the smart thing and wait for them to be far enough away that the ridiculous blast radius doesn't affect you. Or, you throw the thing as soon as they pass you and get caught up in the explosion like a dumbass. I tend to go with the latter. We also got the ice crystal. This one is next on my list of least favorite items, both on the receiving and the giving end. When you get hit with this, it freezes you on the spot, which would be bad enough on its own, but then when the ice finally breaks, you fall down too. When you hit someone with it, you better not be close to them or you're running straight into them. Now you're both on the ground. The snowman snowball is my favorite one. When you hit someone with it, it turns them into a mustachioed snowman. When you get turned into a snowman, you can't turn, you just keep going straight. When you run into something, the snowman breaks and you fall. Next, you got the glove. No, not that one. Almost all the items have a slight lock-on, but some are better than others and will chase the opponents for quite a while. The glove is one of these. You can sometimes get these to lock on from real far away too if you aim it right, and then when you're closer you can hit them with the second one right when they get up. Fuck you, Linda. When you get hit with the glove, it sends you tumbling for a long ass time, like too long. I love hitting people with this right near the edge or right near a jump because then they not only have to wait for the tumble animation, but they also need to wait for the reset animation for falling in the ditch. The last red box item is the parachute, hands down the best item in the game. Hitting your opponent with one of these launches them up into the air where they gently and slowly float back down. It also has the best lock-on function of the game and travels fast as hell. If you like being a douche, you can hit someone with this right before they go off the jump. It makes them have to float down way further, so they'll be stuck in the air for a lot longer. Alright, so now the items we've got in the blue box are the type that mess with speed. These are always worth grabbing. First we've got the Ghost, which slows the player in first place. This can stack up to 3 times. If the player in first place has already won the race, or the Ghost is being used by the player in first place, or the player in first place is using invisibility, then the Ghost will affect player 2 instead. Speaking of invisibility, that one grants you the ability to avoid being hit by items such as the aforementioned Ghost, as well as basically everything else. The only thing you still need to watch out for is the rock. We've also got the speed fan, and this is just your basic speed boost, but turning becomes pretty non-existent when you're using this, so make sure you don't have any sharp turns coming up when you pop this. If you hit a wall or other obstacle, it'll fall off early and you won't get full advantage of the item. The rock is kind of like the banana in Mario Kart. They're relatively small and hard to see in some spots, and hitting one makes you eat shit, so keep your eyes peeled. Drop these right behind the item boxes if you want to be a dick. They're basically invisible then, and the computers love doing this to me so much that it started to create a complex for grabbing items in my brain. The pan is arguably the most infuriating item in the game. Every time I get hit by this, I'm triggered. This thing will always hit you at the worst time, and it takes forever to recover from it. This item affects everyone but the user, so at least you're not the only one getting fucked. As a kid, everyone I knew who played this used to think that pressing the A button really quickly made you recover from this faster. Well, We also used to think that Marilyn Manson removed some ribs to suck his own dick, so like, what the fuck did we know? All spamming the A button does is turn you into a red-faced jackass. The last item is the rat face. This is the rarest item and almost never comes up in rotation, but it steals money from the other racers. Like, a lot. Look at how much money it just gave me. I played this game for about 20 hours for this video, and I only had it show up like twice. Alright, so some of these races are easier than others, but some can be really tough to get first place on, and you're gonna need the patience of a saint. Well, I'm here to help. So gather around, kids, and take notes, cause Dad's got some tips. First up, we got Rookie Mountain. This is the shortest and easiest one. This one has you do 5 laps and only has a couple turns with only 2 jumps. There isn't too much that can be done to give yourself an edge here, as there's no shortcuts. Just make sure you have items ready at the end, because there's nothing worse than having to do 5 more laps because you got passed right at the end. This map is great for getting used to how the game controls. The turning is something that takes a while to get down right, and if you're approaching a sharp turn and you're going too fast, you're going to want to swing wide and turn early. Otherwise, you're smacking the wall. One tip that I can give, which is relevant for every race, is right at the beginning, spam the A button as the race is starting. If you manage to do it properly, you'll get a really big leap forward and a huge head start. This one is one of the longest races, but it only has 2 laps. Near the beginning, after you go off the jump, you'll end up in this forested area. These trees shouldn't really pose a threat because you're not going fast enough, but they are useful to avoid getting hit by enemy items. I like to stick close to the trees so I can quickly zip behind one if I think an item is coming at me. After this section, we have this chasm on the left-hand side, so obviously you're going to want to hug closer to the right wall until close to the jump, and then you want to center out so you're positioned right for the next section. This race isn't hard to navigate, it's just so long. Grabbing the gold on this race shouldn't take you too much time. There aren't really any sharp turns or shortcuts to watch out for. The reason this one's called Big Snowman is because right after the forest section and right near the end, there's a massive snowman you can see off to the side. One more tip that I can give, which is relevant for every race, is do your best to make sure that you're always collecting coins or doing tricks on ramps so that you perpetually have gold ready to buy every item you see. Even if you already have an item currently, even if the item is your favorite item, it's best just to do this so your opponents near you can't grab one too. Because remember, with each item box your opponent grabs, they get 3 chances to hit you. Up next is Sunset Rock. This is a nice picturesque race in the sunset. Near the beginning, we go past this section where penguins run back and forth. It's best to just hug the right side. You avoid all the penguins, and the exit in this section is on the right side anyways. Make sure you start your turn early. It's really sharp here if you approach from the right wall like we are. The next part shortly after has a bunch of falling boulders that you want to pay attention to. How the fuck is this run open? I'm suing. You're definitely going to get pegged by these if you think a Jesus take the wheel approach and ignoring them is going to work like I did. Learn from my mistakes. There's 2 sections with falling boulders that aren't too far apart from each other, so make sure you're paying attention for the second set. Right after the second set, there's a straightaway with a giant snowman who rotates and shoots the snowman snowball item. The trick here is to approach him on the side where he starts shooting from, because you'll have way more time to avoid it than if you try to beat his rotation and don't. There's more than enough room for you to squeeze between each shot, so no need to panic. I have absolutely no clue why this obstacle wasn't in the Big Snowman race, but I digress. This race is actually relentless because right after that we have a section with a bunch of turns and rocks scattered throughout, both big and small. The small rocks are the same ones as the ones that you can pick up from the item box. Make sure you're paying attention for these because they can be hard to avoid if you spot them too late. The last section is a big winding snake way, which is right before the goal line. This section is a blessing in first place, but stressful in second place because it's hard to hit your opponent with items here unless you're close. As soon as you're out of the snake run, you're home free. Night Highway takes place on an abandoned highway. Not sure who paid to install a chairlift here, but we'll ignore that. This race was actually kinda easy, and I got the gold before too long. The beginning starts off straightforward, not much you need to watch out for, but before long you'll come up on this skinny section. Here, you can shoot an item off the side and have it come back up further down the line. Since the items lock on, it's a great way to snipe somebody who's in front of you. Shortly after this skinny section, there's a pair of jumps close together. Watch for an opening on the left side after the second jump. This is a shortcut. Near the end, there's a bunch of random drop-offs with a sharp right turn at the bottom. If you time it right and you have enough speed, you can do a trick and clear the entire thing like a boss, landing in the bank at the bottom, which is by far the fastest and coolest way to get through this section. This course isn't too long and there aren't many sharp turns. Getting the gold on this race is just a matter of patience. Alright, on to Grass Valley. This one has you racing on grass with a snowboard. There's two paths you can choose from right near the beginning. It's best to go right here, but if you do go this way, everybody else is going to follow you. There's a bunch of jumps with a skinny runway, but you can't fall off here, so no worries. When you get through that, you come to this underground mine looking area that has a couple sharp turns and little spots to get tripped up, so try to memorize the layout of this section as quick as you can. A little past the halfway mark on this course, watch for an opening on the right side. This is a great shortcut, but be sure you're watching for the gaps you need to jump over. Be ready for the end when it spits you out. There's a really sharp right turn, and you're wasting the shortcut if you're just going to run into the wall after. So this game has some serious fuckery going on at some points with the computers. It feels like the game will just decide that you aren't winning. Like here. I take this shortcut I just showed you on every lap. Each time I get hit with a stupid pan right before the jump. Every lap. Same jump. The only tricky jump you really need to watch out for in this one is this section right before the sunflowers. I landed and hit the wall here so many times. Try to aim yourself a little more to the left. This one is near the end, so right after you pass the bridge here, get ready for a sharp ass turn. Can we just pause and talk about the music for a sec? Now, I don't know what they were paying this keyboard player, but I promise you, it was not enough. Just listen to this shit. Like, buddy, calm down. This is the N64. Anyway, this level was the first one that had me stuck for a significant amount of time. My blinding rage had my brain like this. Eventually, I managed to persevere through sheer willpower, cause God knows nothing else worked. Make sure you get the shortcut on every lap, and you'll get the gold on this one eventually. Dizzyland is surprisingly one of the courses that took the least amount of time for me to get the gold on, despite it actually being pretty tough in spots. This is a fun race that takes you through an old amusement park. You start out in this cool section through some buildings, where it spits you out on this really skinny train track section. A few easy turns and jumps later, you come up on this dirt section with a bunch of waterfalls. Be careful here because the turn near the end is kind of sharp with the amount of speed you have, and getting caught on the corner and tumbling down is a very real, very easy thing that can happen. Shortly after, you're going to arrive at these twisting teacup things. These bounce you like crazy, so make sure you don't hit these. You can squeeze through them all by going on the right side, and you barely need to move. Right after that, in this dinosaur section, take the sharp turn on the left. That is a great shortcut and one you're going to want to go on each lap. After that section is the hardest part of the race. It has this twisting water slide that makes you go real fast, and the turns are really hard to control. After this is a very short stretch to the end. Getting gold on this one was just a matter of memorizing where all the sharp turns were. After you get gold on the first 6 maps, you get this little cutscene telling you that you got the Copper Pass. This pass unlocks the first of the 3 secret maps called Quicksand Valley. So this secret level, Quicksand Valley, as well as the other 2 secret levels that we're going to cover, I never actually played before now because I had no idea they existed. The reason I didn't know is because it doesn't show anything hidden here on the map select screen like grayed out and waiting to be unlocked. And if you think I was skilled enough as a child to get gold on all those other races, well,
You're wrong.
I was pretty excited to play this level at first, having never played it before, but before long this level had me going through it.
Come on.
Each time you try this race, it takes 7 minutes. It took me 5 hours to get the gold on this track.
5 hours!
My disdain for this track cannot be overstated. Each time I got near the end in first place, some bullshit would happen and I'd lose. And that's the thing when you play against computers in this game. So much is up to RNGesus that I started to feel like my skill didn't come into the equation at all. Not even a bit. Just look at these clips.
Oh, come on! Fuck! Again! Fuck! Ugh. Fuck, man! Come on! Fuck! Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Fuck this game. I'm so done with this fucking game. Fuck this game. Oh my god.
And needless to say, my blood pressure spiked like a motherfucker. This map had me straight up talking to myself.
Not enough.
Fucking idiot. Why would you do that? Oh.
Each time I had to start over, I could feel my will to live secreting from every orifice of my body until only a mindless husk remained pressing the buttons. This is a hard map to navigate, to be sure. The hardest one in the game. There are lots of sharp turns and opportunities to get screwed over. The key to this race is to use the freestyle board level 3. Some of the turns just aren't possible to make without the freestyle board. So, along with using the freestyle board level 3, the next tip I got for you is go right. Every time there's a fork in the road, go right. The last fork in the road is a pretty sweet shortcut, but it's easy to miss, so keep those eyes peeled. No matter what direction you take, eventually you're going to end up at a section with quicksand running off the side. Both directions have a version of it, and this is infuriating. I fell off every single time until I switched to the freestyle board. If you know of a way to make this turn with any other board, you let me know. Alright, so with the right board, memorize when this turn is coming up and make sure you turn into it. If your momentum is even slightly off, you're getting pitched off the side. If you want to get gold on this race, you need to memorize every part of this course. If you fall off all the time, or you run into walls, you're not going to win. This is by far the hardest race though. So if you manage to finally get gold on this one, the difficulty is downhill from here. This unlocks secret track number 2, Silver Mountain. This one is significantly easier than Quicksand Valley, and you'll see it right away. It is blessedly devoid of ridiculously sharp turns, quicksand, running water, or any of that nonsense. The gimmick on this map is just that it's super foggy and you can barely see what's in front of you. This race has a couple of gaps that seem to come up with little warning, so make sure you're ready for those. Beyond that though, there isn't too much that I feel that I need to go out of my way to warn you about. If you're coming off of getting gold on Quicksand Valley, this race is going to feel like a joke. The only other thing there is there's a section about halfway through where you drop a surely fatal distance to an almost flat landing. The landing here is a bit narrow and you have to make a left turn around a wall, so try to land in a position to start the turn right away, but not too close to the left. Getting gold here will get you the gold pass and unlock the final secret course, Ninja Land. The relief I felt at this being the last race was palpable. And the fact that it's a super short and easy map made it even better. This map is beautiful, based on Japanese architecture and the cherry blossoms. You can see ninjas hidden throughout this course, and there's only a couple turns and jumps, none of which are hard to navigate. The hardest part of getting the gold on this map is beating the secret character Shinobin, a ninja. He has his own special boards and he's pretty quick. You're racing on this map for 9 laps. But it's so short that he can actually manage to pull a decent distance ahead of you while you're riding the chairlift. There isn't much I can tell you here besides just keep trying. The map is so short and there's so many laps that anything can happen. But if you ever are at a point where he's already past the halfway mark and you're still on the chairlift, just restart. When you finally beat all the races, you unlock Shinobin as well as the starboard. Shinobin can be selected right from the character select screen. As I mentioned before, he has 3 of his own special boards to choose from. But they basically do the same thing as the boards we already have, they just look cooler. Shinobin handles really well and is probably the best character in the game based on the limited amount of playing I did with him after unlocking him, which wasn't long because I had more than my fill of this game by then. We also unlocked the starboard, which is now available for purchase, which is definitely the best board in the game by far, but it can't be used by Shinobin. Thankfully, after many hours of screaming at my TV, I had more than enough to buy this and call it a day. Okay, so now that we're at the end of our journey, this last bit is for any of you cheaters out there. If you just want to experience everything without having to do the work you just saw me do, or maybe you don't feel like spending the money on a memory card, here's a code I'm going to throw up on screen that you can enter from the main menu to unlock everything right from the start. This will get you all the boards, all the race levels, and a secret character. This code won't work if you already have the save file started though. It only works if you don't have a save game started or there's no memory card inserted. If you do it right, you'll hear a quick / voice line. The best way I'd recommend playing this game if you want to try it for yourself is getting some friends together, putting in the cheat code, and spending an afternoon going through all the races. This is a great option for a party game if you're looking for something that's not Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros, or Mario Party. But I'd recommend looking elsewhere if you're wanting a truly great single-player experience in 2023 because this is not it. So, I know I just spent like 30 minutes complaining about the game, despite telling you that it was a hidden gem at the start, but I'm still going to stick by what I said. This game is a lot of fun to play with some friends, but it's incredibly frustrating to play against the computers, so just don't subject yourself to it. Trust me, it's not worth it. So, did I miss anything that you know about? Maybe there was a shortcut that I missed? Let me know in the comments below. Now that winter finally decided to show itself for real, I'm gonna head out there, so I'll catch you guys next time. Be sure to like and subscribe if you liked what you saw today, and I'll see you later.